On this edition of Time About the Movies, we kick the month of October off with robots beating the crap out of each other under the power of Hugh Jackman. Real Steel, we'll take a look at this new film. We'll also take a look at George Clooney's latest directorial effort, The Ides of March, also starring Ryan Gosling, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Paul Giamatti, and Marissa Tomei. And we'll have the sequel to last year's surprise breakout hit, The Human Centipede, with the Human Centipede full sequence. Let's just say that it's not going to be as fascinating to watch as the original Human Centipede, but it'll be worth talking about. October 7th, 2011, that's our subject today, here on Time About the Movies.
Have changed. Fighting has changed. But the crowd, they never change.
Our main event tonight features pain.
They just get bigger. The human body can only take so much. But the steel never stops.
This is what it's all about. Let's make some money.
Welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the three films released on October 7th, 2011. And we begin with our first movie, Real Steel. Every time I hear that title, I think to myself, that title just sounds like a song, like an 80s rock song, Real Steel. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason that's what I think about. But believe it or not, this is actually based on a short story by Richard Matheson, whose inspirations have come from a lot of Twilight Zone and amazing stories from back in the day. It was originally published in a May 1956 edition of the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction, and later adapted into, as I said, a 1963 Twilight Zone episode. But in this movie, you have a down-on-his-luck former boxer played by Jackman, whose sport is now played by robots, as he and his son, played by Dakota Goyo, find an abandoned robot and train it to become a promising fighter. You also have Evangeline Lilly from Lost, Anthony Mackie, and Kevin Durant in here. And this takes place in the 2020s, and here in 2025, we still do not have these caliber of robots beating the crap out of each other. So yeah, good job, movie. You can't even figure out something that we should have had 10 years from now, But regardless, this is still a really fun movie overall. It delivers on what it promises. An action movie is basically the robot equivalent of something like Over the Top, except nowhere near as stupid, but still very much fun overall. Hugh Jackman, and you replaced arm wrestling with boxing and robots with that. It kind of feels on that caliber to me. That's how I felt when I saw the movie, and it was a pretty fun movie overall. It was a very impressive looking film. The visuals overall were really cool to look at. The writing overall was pretty solid. The characters were very fun. And again, it's Shawn Levy. Shawn Levy has usually been one of those comfort food directors that he knows his audience and he knows how to make something very entertaining and very engaging for the viewer to watch. And yeah, this is another one of those examples of a movie that delivers just that and then some. Real Steel overall, yeah, it's a movie that delivers on what it gives you. Robots beating the crap out of each other, plus you get to see Wolverine, Captain America, and Kate from Lost all in the movie together. So, it's a win-win on all the counts you could possibly ask for. So yeah, that's Real Steel. Kind of quick on that one in general. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that's George Clooney's latest directorial effort, his first after Good Night and Good Luck. And Leatherheads, I should say. Leatherheads was the last one. But this is definitely a lot better than Leatherheads, even though I didn't hate Leatherheads. It's not quite as good as Good Night and Good Luck, but the Ides of March is still pretty good.
I've worked on more campaigns than most people I have by the time they're 40. This is the one.
So how are we doing?
Can't lose. You got something the other guys don't have, but you're working for the wrong man. I want you to work for us.
I don't trust you anymore.
I made a mistake.
There's only one thing I value, and that's loyalty. And without it, you're nothing.
Do you have any idea what this could do?
Of course I do. That's why I'm giving you a choice here.
You'll find something big. Get out now, while you still can.
The Ides of March, in theaters everywhere, October 7th. Rated.
So this is based off of a play by Bo Willman, who would later go on to create Netflix's first original series in The House of Cards, which went on to become a big success and led to Netflix becoming what it is today. And in the movie, you have Ryan Gosling playing Stephen Myers, a young idealist who's brilliant at communications and is second in command of Governor Mike Morris, played by George Clooney, in his presidential campaign. He's a true believer, and in the midst of Ohio's primary, the campaign manager of Morris's opponent, played by Paul Giamatti, asks Myers to meet. He offers him a job. At the same time, Morris's negotiation for the endorsement of the man in third place, a North Carolina senator, hits a snag, and a young campaign intern gets Stephen's romantic attention. Republicans have a trick up their sleeves. Stephen may be too trusting, and Molly has a secret. What's more important, career, victory, or virtue? And yeah, this is, like I said, based off of a play by Bo Willman called Farragut North, and this is the perfect movie that George Clooney should be directing. It's a movie that it's in that same caliber of something like Good Night and Good Luck, and it works because you've got all these terrific actors in here working together and creating a very good movie and really showing all they can bring to the table here. I mean, you know, you got legends like Philip Seymour Hoffman, Paul Giamatti, Marissa Tomei, you have Evan Rachel Wood, you have Jeffrey Wright, you know, you've got George Clooney. It's always going to be a good performance when George Clooney is involved. And Ryan Gosling, this was a great year for him, showing everybody that, hey, this guy has officially arrived, and this is a film that really kind of pushes him again to another echelon, to somebody that should be considered very much somebody that should have won an Oscar by this point. And this one should have definitely been an Oscar contender, but sadly, it never did get the Oscar buzz that it should have. It got one nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay for George Clooney, but other than that, it was pretty much passed over in all the other categories. It's just like, why? Like, it's a really damn good movie. It's a very entertaining film. It's a movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it does show George Clooney is pretty damn good in the director's chair. It's a solid film. It's a really terrific movie that delivers everything you can ask for a film of this caliber. It's a great film. It's one I highly recommend checking out, The Ides of March. Definitely one of the year's best movies. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here, and it's a film that, yeah, we've had some good movies, and now here's the crapper, and it's literally a steaming pile of garbage. The Human Centipede, Part 2, full sequence.
What's wrong?
I did it! It's a film! The Human Centipede's a film!
Human Centipede 2, full sequence. Doesn't really matter, because, yeah, this movie is rough. The first Human Centipede movie is a disgusting movie, but it's a fascinating kind of disgusting. It's the equivalent of the donkey scene in Clerks 2. You know, you're like Rosario Dawson's character. You're disgusted, you're repulsive, and yet you can't look away from it. That first movie is fascinating on its own merits. This is taking the fascinating stuff from the first movie and trying to be snooty and pretentious and be like, I'm better than you, and I'm going to show you why, because I'm going to make a movie that's even more disgusting and even more unsettling than the first movie was. And because you did that, you fucked it up. You fucked it up big time, and yeah. This is the end result of that. You have Lawrence Harvey playing a psychiatrically and intellectually impaired Englishman who watches and becomes obsessed with the first Human Centipede movie and decides to make his own centipede consisting of 12 people by using crude and violent techniques to connect their lips to each other's buttocks, including Aisling Yenny, an actress from the first film. So, yeah. It's gone into pretentious territory. It's trying to be self-referential and funny, and it's none of that whatsoever. Like, it's going into Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 territory, for fuck's sake. I mean, that's how bad you have to be for a sequel like this. If you have to rip off the worst Blair Witch movie possible, that wasn't even related to the Blair Witch Project in general, and this is just such a disgusting mess of a movie, and not in the same way that made the first one work. This is just somebody who saw the success of the first movie and essentially decided, I can do whatever I want to do with it, and people will love it. And sure enough, he did that, and yeah. the end result here is a mess that was so bad that even the UK and New Zealand and Australia censored the film from getting to them. That's how bad this movie was. Like, this time around, they really upped the violence, they upped the sexual violence, they upped the defecation, the body horror. It's just disgusting to watch, and there's nothing of value to it whatsoever. And it's a movie that is very insulting to just everybody involved here. Like, the guy that's putting this together is a short, obese, asthmatic, and mentally challenged man, and it's basically saying that if you're any one of those things, you're a crazy person and you need to be locked up. And it's just like, no, that's not what that's not what a movie like this should be teaching people. Like, you should even have made this movie to begin with. The first movie was a happy little accident that came out to be an unexpected success. And because you couldn't handle the pressure of just doing one film, you had to make another one and completely butchered it. You know, you packaged it, you patented it. What's the quote from Jeff Goldblum? It's like what Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park. You stood on the shoulders of greatness to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it, and you packaged it, and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you want to sell it. That's literally the thinking behind the Human Centipede 2. And if you people out there don't see that, then clearly I don't know what to tell you, man. But let me tell you something. This ain't the first movie. The first movie is disgusting, but fascinating in its own unique way. This is just disgusting and just an ugly mess of a film, and just should have stopped there. But of course it didn't. They made another one because why the fuck not? We want trilogies in this world, bitch. But yeah, so I think you get the hint. Human Centipede 2 full sequence. It's terrible. It's a mess. It's just get away from me. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. And next time we meet, we'll take a look at 4 films, including the remake of Footloose, directed by Craig Brewer of Hustle and Flow and Black Snake Moan fame. We also have another remake, the remake of The Thing, the remake of the John Carpenter remake, this time with Mary Elizabeth Winstead among the cast. We have another one of those movies that didn't get the attention that it deserved, and really, it's one of my favorite underrated comedies that came out around this time. Jack Black, Owen Wilson, and Steve Martin starring in the bird-watching comedy, which you wouldn't think would be much for a movie, but somehow the big year kind of makes it work, and I'll explain why in the next episode. And we'll also take a look at, what's the last film I have here? Here it is, Pedro Almodovar's latest film, The Skin I Live In. So, 4 films we'll take a look at. We'll take a look at those films coming up tomorrow on the show, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. And also don't forget to check out our playlist and check out the last episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.